Hi everyone, this is Jason from Languages Out There. Um, I'm going to read you the main newsletter now quite quickly because I don't want to take too long. There's a nice picture on there of a lady with luscious lips with a gold tongue, which is an interesting photo. But I suppose I put it on there as a kind of metaphor or symbol of some things that happen in the teaching of English or that are sort of seemingly culturally ensconced. Anyway, let me get a move on. Hello to everyone out there. So we missed an April newsletter. Never mind. Did you really miss it? Probably not. This is the Time for Change newsletter, the one where we ask you to do the unthinkable, to smell the coffee, i.e., get real, and realize that to teach 2 billion English learners, that's how many apparently are on the planet, many from poor backgrounds, we need a fairer, more socially inclusive and effective way of teaching English. Um, it's true, there are 2 billion English learners and about 4 million TEFL teachers, but there are lots of, um, most English teachers are non-native English speakers. And it's my opinion that things need to change. I really hope you've been continuing to get social in your quests to teach and learn English, that you have met new people and bonded, i.e., made friends, via some enjoyable and exciting interactions. And there's the list of things in this newsletter. Um, the second one I would highlight: speak up, my old China. My old China is a phrase that's sort of Cockney rhyming slang that means that China means China plate, and China plate rhymes with mate. So if you say to someone, all right, my old China, you're saying, hello, my friend. Anyway, you can read those, and I'll go down to listen to me read this newsletter, which you're doing now. And then the first one is: how many Chinese English learners conduct focused English discussions in class to provide crucial real practice for their students? I think I said learners, it should be teachers. How many Chinese English teachers conduct focused English discussions in class to provide crucial real practice for their students? And what are the major issues for ELT innovators, and are they being met? This is an article on our website that I've written that highlights. I found some interesting first-hand accounts of problems that Chinese English learners have inside China, written by teachers and academics, that highlight some of the problems. And I just kind of put those next to, you know, the way or some of the things that the UK English language teaching industry is rewarding for innovation and you know, seemingly being a good thing for teachers to use, and saying that teachers everywhere, non-native English speaking teachers, can use these materials in their classrooms. But I've kind of used put two things next to each other without really commenting, and you can decide what you think is what you think I'm trying to say. Okay, so next one is, click on that link if you want to go and read it. Big Brain app. What do some top academics have to say about social inclusion, social media, and its role in the future of language teaching? Well, I kind of always do a bit of research on these things and try and keep my fingers on the pulse. And I attended a webinar, and I say that word always gets a laugh in our house, especially from my partner Yana. She finds the word webinar, you know, very amusing. Um, so I attended a webinar that brought together some top academics and was held in a Finnish university recently. And it's part of an EU, European Union e-learning research project that's quite interesting. And you can watch the whole webinar. You can see all the comments people make on the left-hand side in the chat box, and you can go to another site there where there's that link where there are the presentations from the speakers. and it's a very, very interesting thing to see what people are saying about online learning using social media and social networks, and the sort of the technology we're using now and I'm using to record this. It is interesting the way people are getting to some conclusions, but there's still not any kind of consensus on best practice and stuff like that. So, next point, more EU funded research into e-learning and how it is changing the pedagogic landscape. This piece is about how learning scenarios are going to be the key to effective learning online, and points out that there is a real lack of understanding about how people learn online. It's not learning differently, it's learning the same way, only using different tools and scenarios that in many ways are more brain friendly, I think I've misspelt friendly there, than what we are used to in traditional offline environments. Big bonus for us, for EOT here, is the observation that there is a real need for learning materials that fit the medium and make the most of the amazing technological tools available to virtually every student on the planet. Um, so what this research says is that learning online and using tools like Facebook and Skype and other things, you know, people learn the same way. It's not a different type of learning. The brain isn't working in any different way, but the way information is presented to the brain can be done differently, and possibly, and I would argue almost definitely, um, producing in many cases better results in terms of the acquired information. So it's interesting times that people are looking at this stuff, and do have a read of that paper. It talks about learning scenarios, and the key thing here is, I think, that technology enables people to put into practice what they're being taught, or the information they're trying to acquire. And so a scenario is where they can actually prove to themselves that they can do it and put it into practice, which is not the case of learning in a classroom with other students where things are more theoretical. So here are some learners who have been using online learning materials, ours, that involve a slightly different type of learning scenario. So you've probably seen some of these, and I've sent these out quite a lot because I've been doing some case studies on a couple of learners, Jane, who's Chinese, and Waldek, who's Polish, and recording every single minute of my interactions with them online using Skype and Facebook, Vivox, so that there's a documented record of every single minute of my conversations with them, so that we can look at clips before and after so many hours of them using our materials and talking to me and other people, so that we can see how they develop in terms of their speaking and listening skills. And the results so far are very, very good. Um, so there's those two you can listen to again if you haven't listened to them, or you can listen to for the first time if you haven't listened to. And then I found this video on a site which is called The Future of Publishing. It's produced by some publishers, and watch it. It's very, very clever. I like it a lot. The way it's very simple, but it gets a message across about publishing and about how publishers and people producing information for students and young people should look at how they present it and how they interact with those students. And there's a slightly dodgy old jokes home joke. How do you confuse a tabloid reader? A tabloid is like a British newspaper like the Sun or the Daily Mail, that simplifies things and takes extreme positions. How do you confuse a tabloid reader? Tell them an asylum seeker's killed a paedophile. That would definitely confuse them. So until next time, cheers, and thank you for watching.